Welcome to the River Cruising Masterclass. I drove over 3 hours for this exclusive interview. And please welcome my mom. She is a little nervous about being on the camera, but I wanted to get her opinion because she did her first river cruise with me this year after I had sung its praises. And so I kind of wanted to just have a conversation. Like, don't freak out over it. About what you thought and how it was. So let's start with the fact that we are a cruising family. And so I want to know what got you into cruising in the first place. What?
I wanted to go to the Bahamas
Is that it?
and I wanted to go on a cruise.
Okay. I thought it was your husband won a contest.
Well, stop.
Just ignore it, Mom. Right. Welcome back to the River Cruising Masterclass, where we have my mom. And so we were going to talk about her experience from going from ocean to river cruising, as she did her first river cruise this year. So we're going to take it back to the OG. What was your first cruise that you ever did?
Well, my first cruise was the second ship that Carnival ever made, which was the festival. And it was our anniversary, and we went to the Bahamas and just had a fabulous time and met friends that are our friends to this day.
That's awesome. And such a fun way to create that cruising experience. Okay, so now you have done ocean and river cruising. And we started out with Carnival, which is going to be your basic entry-level cruises. And we've graduated to Azamara, Oceana, that like more luxury feel. And now we've moved into river cruising. What do you think about the comparison between ocean and river cruising?
Okay, what I love about the river cruising is that you sit there on the boat and you just get to see all the beautiful things on the river. You're there, you're part of the scenery, you're part of everything that's going on the shores.
Yeah.
You see castles. Besides that, you see lots of other.
All right. People and dogs, we got easily distracted there. So, as we were talking about, what was the difference between going from ocean to river? You were talking about how you enjoyed being so close to everything.
Yes, it's so nice to be on the river and you're only like 20 feet from the side.
Yeah.
And it's just, everything's so much closer.
That is what I always say is like when I did the Mediterranean cruise, I hated the big boats. I hated how far we were from all the ports. It literally was like 3 hours to get to Rome, 3 hours to get to Florence, and it was just so much time of my vacation was wasted in transport, which I didn't think was the case with river cruising.
River cruising, yeah, and it's so enjoyable. You're just sitting on the boat and you're just taking in everything, and you're so comfortable on the boat the whole time, and you're seeing so much. You just
Yeah.
really enjoy yourself.
Was there anything that you missed with the big boats that you didn't get with river cruising?
No, because the river boats, they have pools if you want to lay by the pool.
Ours didn't, but they do have them. Some of the river cruise companies do. The one, no,
You didn't have a
no.
pool? And I didn't miss it.
It was also April, so you're
Well, yeah, it was too cold to even think about a pool. Anyway, the entertainment was wonderful.
Yeah.
The food was fabulous. The service was wonderful. Everything was over the top, over the top. And you know what? You didn't have to rush. You get in these big boats and you always have to stand in line and do this, and you're so much more well taken care of.
I'm glad you thought
You
so.
got more personal contact. You get to know the people.
Yeah. I mean, so as we talk about that, like with river ships, you're not really far from anything. I liken them to an extra large houseboat. That's what they look like to me.
That's it. That's exactly it.
Did you like the smaller ship experience, like only having like 150 to 200 people on?
Oh, I love it because you know the people, you enjoy their company, and you get to know everybody, and it's more personal.
Yeah.
And, and I hate to say this, is like when our first boat, we met our friends that were 20, 30 years ago that were still friends because we got to get to know them.
Yes.
We had an a personal relationship.
I'm still friends with the people I met for my first river cruise.
Yeah.
We're trying to plan another one, so you never know. You kind of talked about it before, but what did you think about the food on board? Did you enjoy how they kind of set things up? Because on the river cruise we went on, there was only one restaurant. So it's not like you have options. Because when you want on a huge cruise ship, there's like 15, restaurants you can pick from. You could do teppanyaki, you could do those other things. On riverboats, they just don't have the space.
Well, I really didn't notice that because the food was so good every single night.
I
And
mean, I had a ribeye almost every night. It
and
was delicious.
the service was great. And no, it was didn't I didn't miss it.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
And on that same thing, normally we are a family who always gets the drinks packages. Or you could be like Connie with the Bud Light.
Yes.
Did you miss not having the drinks package? Did you think that it was pretty adequate on like what they provided? Because they have the beer and wine at lunch and dinner.
Their package was wonderful. I didn't They were so accommodating. Actually, they said if you want to take 2 glasses to your room, that was fine.
And someone in our party did do that regularly.
And saved it.
For when we weren't at lunch and dinner.
That's it.
So then on terms of like the entertainment atmosphere, we've been on different styles of trips. And I say that lightly just because like each trip is unique in its sense. Like when we were on Oceana, they don't have the same Broadway as they do Carnival or Royal, but they still have some things or comedians. But on river cruises, it's very much more focused on cultural immersion, right? Like you have, the players that come on board, or you'll have like dancers from local areas. Did you feel like you miss anything besides the nose flute player in Rudesheim?
Because of the fact that there are not a lot of people on there, they bring in these piano players, and we can sit there and tell them what we wanna hear, and they play it, and we all get together. It's not a huge crowd, and it's so wonderful, and we can just sit there and dance and enjoy ourselves. And I meet people on the dance floor, and
Eh.
I know I did that.
Yeah, I have a couple of photos. There was that grandma who was there
I
with.
know, huh?
Were so fun.
She's from Colorado.
I
Yeah.
thought the daughter was the granddaughter. The grandma was as well.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I learned something new every day.
Yeah.
She was a lot of fun.
She was.
I have some photos of her and BJ.
I know. Always a good time.
Now, so with river cruising, most of the river cruise companies include the shore excursions, right? What did you think about that aspect? It's a lot of history for you. I know that we normally don't always do those types of excursions. What did you think about this like new style for you in that part of it?
The excursions were great. You could either go at your speed, and they had excursions for people that didn't like to go so fast. So that was nice.
The
I mean,
Gentle Walkers group. Yeah.
the gentle walking group. So that was great. No, the excursions were wonderful.
I mean, you're allowed to say if there's only so many castles I can see, so sometimes I get bored of them as well. It's different, right? Like you, before this, didn't have an excursion in every port paid for or included in the trip. Okay, as we were talking about the excursions, what did you think about it? Was it too much history for you?
No, 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 never too much history. It was wonderful. The
I know we were
excursion.
just talking about with Lucy how as we get older, we enjoy the history more.
Yes, yes, we do.
And like what we learned was literally every day we went from France to Germany. And when we were in Germany, it was all France's fault. And when we were in France, it was all Germany's fault. So my mom and I were actually talking about how interesting it is to hear the history through like the storytellers of each country and how it changed the narrative that way.
Yes.
Ditto.
I agree with everything she said. No, it actually the history, but to see all the different things when we went into Holland, I love about what is
The
the
windmills?
no, the dike. What do they call it?
The
W
Kinderdijk?
The remember
What part? What part? Give me more.
in Holland when we saw the windmills, because who
Yeah.
was it, the person that put her finger in the dam to hold it?
Oh,
It
you're
it
talking
was
about the story of where Kinderdijk got its name.
Yeah.
It was the baby that was on the cradle and the
Yes,
cat that
the
kept
cat
rocking
and
it back
the
at
cat in the
cat
cradle.
in the
And, you
cradle.
know, and that's so much fun because you can buy books to bring home to your the children to
Yeah.
read, and I know my secretaries and they love them.
Yeah.
All those books, because it's interesting, because it's a fun way to present history, and so that was a lot of fun.
We had some good shopping days, like in Colmar when we
We
went.
had Yes, I bought an outfit in almost in every port.
Important things.
There are priorities that
Yeah.
we have.
What was the name of the company in Amsterdam we loved? Salt something. Anyways, it doesn't matter.
I have a sweatshirt.
He has a sweatshirt.
Scotch and soda.
Scotch and soda.
Yes.
Irony is we bought something not in Amsterdam from Scotch and soda as well, because mine is Scotch and soda.
Yeah.
Okay. What was one of your favorite stops on the trip?
Well, Amsterdam has to be
Right.
my favorite. Yeah. And to see all the tulips.
We did. We
And
went during the
I
tulip season and
bought
it was
$250 worth of tulips. Yes.
and they don't look as good here as they did there.
I gave some out and everyone was very pleased because they're so different. So different. It was wonderful. Wonderful.
I
Yeah.
loved the history of learning about the tulip.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How it came from like the name, like a
went
turban.
to a place before and learned the history, which is very important because you get to that
The
the
Kuchenhafen.
the Kuchenhafen, and you don't know anything about tulips, but we went to a place prior to that, which Sydney set up, and it gave us the whole education, the whole history on tulips, which made it a lot more interesting when we went to the place to see the tulips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. Amsterdam was one of my favorites as well. There you go.
We have the evening sun.
When you think of river cruising, what would you like if you were to convince someone to go on it now? How would you describe it since you've done it?
River cruising is just the best way to go. It's so
Convenient is what I like to say.
convenient, intimate,
Mm-hmm.
more friendly, personable. They've just gotten they're the boats are so big now. Nothing's personal, and the smaller boats are personal, fun, and enjoyable. Enjoyable.
Yeah.
You're not rushed, and it is just pleasure to be on them.
I was going to say, one thing we didn't talk about was the cruise manager or the person on board. And we had such a fun guy every day.
We did.
So every day at night.
What do you call him?
I think it's a cruise manager.
And cruise director.
Cruise director. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah. Oh my God, he was so wonderful.
He was.
And when we went out on our cruises, he was there always.
Yeah.
Check not the
excursions.
The excursion. He was there. Every time we went out, we saw him there. He was checking on everybody. He was wonderful, entertaining, a comedian. I mean, he was fabulous.
Yeah.
Fabulous. I enjoyed him immensely.
I thought so as well. It's nice when they and every night they do a little tour of what you're going to see the next day. They kind of do a high level, maybe where to shop, what to do if you had any questions.
And you know what's crazy? You sit there and you go, oh, I don't need to go there, but you do. Because it really is.
It adds to the experience.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry when I do miss it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I will say that he did have this hat as part of when we went to Winston. He did have a hat when we were going to go to the Black Forest. Remember the pom-pom hat?
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted to buy it. We were both going to buy it.
Yeah.
And it didn't actually exist. It was it was the formal garb or whatever, but you couldn't buy it. So I let him know I was disappointed in that.
I forgot that.
All right.
Anyway.
So what is next on your cruise bucket list?
My cruise bucket list?
Yeah.
Actually, we're doing Egypt.
So excited.
So excited. And my next one, actually, I want to do Bali.
Ooh.
Yeah, we want to do that.
I think we're going to do that for November next year.
Maybe.
For your birthday.
I'd like to do that.
Yeah, I think that's all. I think it's there.
Yeah, and then I do want to do Venice.
I don't know if I would do that on a cruise, though.
Okay.
I think I would just go, and then we can do the Orient Express to Paris.
Oh. Yeah. Anyway, so we have an exciting trip to Paris here, which we will be doing
September.
In September? What?
Yeah. The Rhone River,
the Rhone.
which is the south of France.
Yes.
Because there is a river in Paris, and that's the Seine, and it goes to Normandy.
Okay.
But anyways, thank you so much for joining us on this lovely River Cruise Masterclass talk. She did amazing. We all had so much fun, and I can't wait for our next trip.
Anyway. Okay. Thank you.